We're live.
We are live. Hey, guys. Here it is. It always surprises me when it finally does it. Welcome back, folks, to Behind the Numbers. Andrew and I are delighted to be with you on this beautiful Friday. We are actually recording this on a beautiful Thursday because tomorrow, Renee and I are going up to D.C. in the morning, so we cannot join you live. We're going to do a recorded show this time. So we got a little business to do in D.C. Home soon of the triumphal arch of Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah.
In the meantime, I don't know if the arch was based on Trump's approval ratings on everything, it would be an arch made for ants, as they say in Zoolander. Andrew, just walk us through, because this is just like
we had this conversation. It seems like once a week.
We've broken another barrier
where he slips down farther and farther, and I think to myself, it's not possible to go any lower than this.
And yet
here we are. He just is so unpopular. He is so unpopular, and his disapproval is massively spiking.
Massively. God bless.
You know, I see this as the end of Trump as a political force.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the end of Trumpism as sort of
That's right.
disease in our politics, but Trump himself is finished. I mean, he really has no base of support
you don't
which
turn
he can
this
build
around.
back from. I mean,
right. You don't turn this around.
No,
he could cure cancer tomorrow, and it'd be like, no.
I mean, think about where we were in terms of like MAGA enthusiasm in, say, 2016. It was at a fever pitch. You know, the whole base was riled up about Donald Trump. They loved him.
Right.
And now they sort of quietly avoid the conversation. They don't want to talk about it anymore.
Well, when you've got Republican approval of Trump now it's at 68.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the ball game. It's done. It's done.
And I was having this conversation with some of my younger conservative buddies, and you know, there's this desire to believe that the Republican Party is somehow going to change out of this. Yeah. And that because his approval is slipping with Republicans, that there is some reform coming in the party, and I just don't believe it.
I had someone try to make the case to me that Ron DeSantis is definitely the future now.
I've heard it before.
Yeah,
I just don't buy it. You know, the functionally the National Party is still enabling Donald Trump.
That's right.
In Congress. And there is not an avenue for their party to change other than implosion.
Right. I think they have to have the full collapse before they can have any hope of a reset.
Right. And you know, Donald Trump is going to be a sort of an anchor around their neck for another 2-3 years.
Shit, man, we were running against Jimmy Carter until the late 1990s.
Right.
In the Republican
so what is
Party.
that? We got Donald Trump around the Republican Party's neck until 2050.
Somewhere in there.
Somewhere in that range.
Somewhere in there.
It's really
I'll be on the lunar retirement home by then, but I mean, God Almighty.
No, you'll be in the cloud by that point.
I'll be in the cloud. Yes, I will be uploaded, majestic in the cloud.
That'll be maniacal, I'm sure.
God bless. Well, so let's get to some of the individual approval areas, and folks, just to show you how bad this is. All of these things should have been Trump's strengths.
Yeah. So just like leave foreign policy out for a second.
Yeah.
Inflation, jobs, immigration, and crime. Those are Donald Trump's bread and butter.
Oh yeah.
He has been thriving and surviving on these issues for a decade, 12 years.
Yep.
And now he's underwater on all of them. You know, he wasn't doing great on any of these. When you see this first data point when it was pulled, what is the? It doesn't say what the date of this.
These are April.
This is after inauguration, right after inauguration.
Yeah.
And these are the latest. So he wasn't doing amazing on these beforehand.
Right.
But those were his best issues.
Right.
Now they are detrimental to him. Now, foreign policy is a kind of a different story. MAGA doesn't care about foreign policy, really, aside from being isolationist and sort of sticking the finger in the eye of NATO. But he's fucked it up so bad that it's become a serious issue. You know, foreign policy is not a motivating issue for most voters, but it has become one because he has injected all this chaos into at the pump, essentially. because of his foreign policy.
I mean, I say this a lot. It's the unspinnable nature of gas prices and grocery prices.
Mm-hmm.
You can pretend you're a Trump loyalist till your dying day, but you can't pretend to yourself that you're not paying $4 a gallon for gas.
Yep. And you know, I'm going back to this conversation. I've been having a lot of conversations with my conservative friends. And one of the things I heard was, you know, he's doing this stuff because he's distracting from the fact that he didn't fulfill his campaign promises. What were those promises? They were golden age. They were mass deportations, and they were inflation, bringing down inflation.
Bringing down the prices of gas and groceries.
Right. Now, I think what really just sticks in my craw is, like, you know, we said for years and years to these people, like, he's not, this is all bullshit. Like, he's just lying.
Right. It's all a show.
He is a dangerous liar, and he is leading you on, and none of the stuff, even if you like these things, even if you wanted mass deportations, all this comes with just an enormous amount of baggage and corruption. And they didn't believe that because they have ingested this narrative that Donald Trump is somehow targeted by the deep state. And, you know, that's what they use as justification for voting for him, you know, that he is some sort of persecuted individual and that he has all these great ideas and that Democrats didn't let him do it in the first term. Which is madness. And now he has no guardrails. Donald Trump has no one limiting his power in Congress or in the White House. No one is saying no. And look at what you get.
And look, and I'd make an argument that once in a while, people look at DC and go, okay, this one party should not control everything. That's enough. And I think they made that argument in 2010. I think they made that argument in 2006. I think they made that argument in 1994, where all these blowout elections, it came down to you had essential one-party control in D.C., and people were like, that'll do. No more. Quiet, piggy. We're done.
Basically. Except for a cohort of Republican boomers that are never going to leave Donald Trump. They're stuck with him forever.
The Facebook uncles, as I call them, are never leaving. They're the ones that are going to comment to the dying day that he's freeing the children from the deep state.
What are you going to do?
So what do we got next? Economy.
This is interesting. You don't see this every day.
No, not for a while.
Fox News polls say that Americans prefer Democrats to Republicans on the economy for the first time since 2010. That's a significant finding just because of how long it's been since. I mean,
I'm blown away by that number.
16
frankly.
years of Republicans leading on the economy.
And you look at the velocity of that number, though, also, Andrew. I mean, from stagnant for a long time to we're seeing a point or two a month now.
Oof.
And I got to tell you, if you are Donald Trump and if you're Tony Fabrizio and Chris LaCivita right now, you're praying for any goddamn thing to bring down gas prices, because I think this is probably very much step rank regulated by the gas price impact.
Well, and tariffs. You can see on February of 2023, Republicans are at 15.
Yep.
But post-Liberation Day, July 2025, they're at +1, which is really this is immediately. Liberation Day was in April.
Yep.
And this is where you went from +15 to +1, and now we're here, and that's because of gas prices.
And this is why we're seeing folks. Cook and Larry Sabato and everybody else on the prediction side are moving, leaning Democratic seats to safe. They're moving leaning Republican seats to toss up or leaning Democrat. It is bound, tightly bound with Trump's falling approval rating on the economy. It is a first order derivative of Trump's polling on the economy.
So this next one here is AP. This is Republicans' disapproval of Trump's handling the cost of living specifically. 18 to 45 Republicans, 60% say they disapprove. 45 and older, 38%. Those are both critical demographics for him.
Man, if you have 38% of 45 plus Republicans,
Ooh,
saying that he's doing a bad job on the economy, and he's not on the ballot. We're going to win places like Mississippi if this keeps up.
I agree. And you talked about Larry Sabato and Crystal Ball and those folks, they move methodically and slowly.
Yes.
They look at these aggregates over time, and they're not making like big predictions about where polls are going in the future. They're just looking at them at the moment.
Yeah.
So theirs are going to be more conservative, small c, as an estimate of where of these seats. So this is Donald Trump's approval on the economy. As of today, he's at 70% disapproval from this AP North poll. That is insane. It is an insane number. It's can you think of an issue that 7 in 10 Americans agree on?
Like puppies and kittens are cute.
It's unfathomable to be at 70% disapproval. And it's just this is only going to get more distorted as we go further into this war. It's only going to get worse as people start to, when the spring harvest is, significantly dampened because they can't
get those victory gardens going, folks.
But I mean, it's you're not kidding. It's just like,
I mean, the political link that destroyed Joe Biden's presidency was not that he got old. That certainly was a part of it. But the thing that destroyed his presidency and the thing that prevented Harris from moving up over a certain boundary layer was that the perception of the cost of living was too damn high. And people blamed him and said, you didn't do anything about it. And now the things that Trump is doing are making all these things worse. Biden had an outside circumstance. He had an externality affecting him. This is all Trump's choice, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
and we've been on this path since COVID. And it is amazing to think that we've actually had an enormous amount of inflation since COVID, 20-something% inflation. The sticker shock that people feel isn't all the way across the economy. It's not every product they buy, but it is specific things like gas and groceries that make up such a significant part of your budget. And there are people who are paying a lot more for gas and groceries. We talked about this with Mike Madrid. The people who are affected most by the price of gas going up are these younger Hispanic men because they are the ones driving so much. And we have some Texas numbers. If we want to pull those up really quick. I've been preaching this gospel for a long time that Texas redistricting was a dummy mander and they totally fucked it up.
Oh yeah. They fucked it up.
This is really bad. So Democrats are vastly outperforming Trump's 2024 numbers with in Hispanic counties. And Republicans had predicated their whole redistricting strategy in Texas on getting Trump's number with Hispanics. They're not going to get anywhere near that number. And they are going to lose seats because of their own gerrymander. And they're going to lose more seats. We have some stuff about Virginia because of what they set in motion. They set this in motion and the game has been played. And they were stupid to do this. This was a reckless move to try and steal these seats. And I think it shows the sort of theory of mind that these elected Republicans had when they came in Trump's second administration. They believed that they were invincible, which is, of course,
absolutely
totally false and a silly thing to think.
Never believe your coalition today is your coalition tomorrow.
They really believed that they were, this is exactly what Democrats were saying for a long time, the whole demographics is destiny thing.
Yep.
Republicans swallowed that pill and believed it 100%.
Oh, yeah.
And you see what happens.
Hook, line, and sinker.
Well, they have it coming. They're going to lose a lot. And
I mean, look, when you finally see Democratic outside super PAC for the Congressional Leadership Fund for the Democrats committing $20 million to Florida, all of a sudden, that's the cage has been rattled.
It has.
There's been a change in the weather, folks, and those Texas seats, Andrew, you have been talking about this for a long time. They bet on the same Hispanic opinion present in November of 24, holding up in November of 26, and those people have been hit just right in the face with the economy. It's not the immigration stuff, as Madrid told us. It's the economics that's killing Republicans with these folks.
Yep, and that's what brought them in to Donald Trump's coalition, and it's what's going to shove them out. He has a tendency to destroy himself, which is amazing for us. It does sort of bother me somewhat, for all this time, for these 12 years, the only person really capable of destroying Donald Trump completely is Donald Trump. Right. We were able to keep him out of office in 2020.
Yep. You're welcome, America.
You're welcome. But he, destroying him really is it comes down to his own.
Yeah, Donald Trump is like a supervillain, and it's only his own flaws that will kill him in the end. And look, Andrew, I think as many times as we've warned people that it can't go lower, it can't get worse. The situation in the Gulf right now, Iran was running full-scale mining yesterday. America was unable to stop 30 ships getting out of the Gulf yesterday. Our troops on the carriers, battle groups, are down to eating like bread and water type rations because they're out of food on the fucking aircraft carriers. These people they're not even close to blowing this as bad as they're going to blow it.
Half of Americans say the Iran war was the wrong decision. 68% of Republicans say it was the right choice. Obviously, independents are where we always have them.
2-1.
2-1.
As always.
The thing about this war is that they just keep making the wrong choice. They just keep making the wrong choice every single time.
Like I said, Andrew, I'm fairly creative as a thinker about these kind of things. And I don't have a scenario where we get out of this without international humiliation of the highest order. We leave and to get the Strait open again, and we've given Iran a position now as a regional power they could have never achieved without Donald Trump doing this. They're going to make so much money. They're going to buy an entirely new military from China off of Temu or whatever military website the Chinese sell their shit through. All of it just bothers me because the right thing to do right now for Trump, strategically for the country, is to end it.
End it.
We're done.
Yep.
We're out of the Gulf. Fuck it. It's your problem. Bye. Go home. That will have terrible repercussions for the world economy, of course, and for the American economy.
Yep.
And for Trump and for American diplomacy.
But that's not nearly as bad as how bad it could be.
But it could get worse.
It could get a lot worse. It could be the best choice right now is to pull out, like you said, because even if the ramifications of that are serious and the consequences are really bad for America, the consequences could be a lot worse.
So much worse.
It's a lot worse.
So much worse. If I'm Iran right now, I'm trying to get North Korea to sell me a couple of nukes.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't done that already. But it's either that or stay at the threshold, right below the threshold.
Americans hate this war.
Americans hate this war.
They hate this war.
They don't want
economy.
They don't want to put any more resources towards it. I was reading something, that the war is going to cost American households $50,000 over a few years. It's like that is so much money for the average household.
Yeah.
And
it's catastrophic.
It's catastrophic, and it's again, like tariffs, not a mystery where the pain is coming from.
Right.
The pain of gas prices going up is a direct result of Donald Trump's actions in the Gulf, and people are not ignorant to that. They weren't ignorant to it with tariffs. They weren't ignorant to the inflation caused by tariffs. And I just don't see him. I mean, Donald Trump is clearly desperate to get out. We've been saying that for a long time. He's desperate to get out of this. And I have a feeling on May 1st, he's not going to kick and scream too much when he has to go through Congress for the authorization, or he'll just give himself more time.
Right.
He may
let those libtards in Congress that I control. They said no. Oh,
but I've been saying things like this, like he should taco, and that would be the best thing. And but he just doesn't seem to want. He he isn't calculating the potential risks farther down the road. He's seeing the risks now, and they are serious and bad for him. But he isn't looking forward to the future to see how catastrophic it could really be. He just this is a dangerous foreign policy decision. We've been saying this over and over again. It's the most consequential thing he's done. And I think if we, were it not for this war and were it not for the corruption, he would be fine.
You know what?
Everything would be fine.
I think three things he could have done in the very beginning of this term: dumped every Epstein file out there and said, "Oh well, I'm in it. Okay, whatever." 2, not do this.
Not do this.
Not do tariffs. And you know what? The stock market would have been bumping along and doing what it does, and while the economy would not be spectacular, people would not hate him like so much they want to throw rocks at him. I mean, Donald Trump's numbers are so low that dogs howl when he walks by. It is bad.
Oh, yeah. And he's focused on just crazy shit like the arch. I mean, the arch is a perfect example.
The arch, the ballroom, the plane.
And we've got some polling here. So 54 wants it. 54% of Americans oppose a proposal for the arch.
Yep.
I suspect that when he starts building, and he will start building, and he probably won't finish it, that 54 number is going to inflate to 70 something disapproval of this.
I got to tell you, if you're a Republican and you think all that gold gradu is staying in the White House, and that the disco floor where the Rose Garden was is going to stay, and that the ballroom is going to stay up, and that the arch will stay up,
he's going to have to put it on the garage sale to pay for the war here. I don't know where he's going to get the money. And the arch and the ballroom are perfect examples. I think when you ask people what Donald Trump is, like, yeah, he's fucking up the economy. He's doing terrible on jobs, cost of living, all this stuff. He has bad ratings on that. But why does he have bad ratings? Americans will tell you he's focused on the wrong stuff.
Right. Yeah.
He's focused on Iran. He's focused on the arch. He's focused on his petty little grievances that he has with people. And now he's increasingly focused on the incompetence of his cabinet picks. Specifically,
that's
Kash Patel.
Going great.
We haven't talked about Kash Patel.
Crash Patel, baby. I love the fact that he's using the same lawyer that sued me for Mike Flynn, and that guy Jesse Banal is the lawyer. He sues all kinds of people for defamation of MAGA figures, and he loses every time. And the Atlantic is going to take them to the barn. They're going to whip them so bad. This is a thoroughly reported story by a very, very well-regarded professional reporter who has 12 or more sources about this. They're going to walk in that door, and it's going to and Patel's going to get laughed out of the room. I mean,
you're telling me that the FBI director can't be drunk on the job?
Yeah.
You're telling me that he can't have a few drinks? I mean, what's wrong with this country?
Yeah, I mean, come on. We're only in a war with a terrorist, a nation skilled in terrorism. Why would the FBI director need to be steady?
Yeah, it just doesn't. These are the people he picked.
Yep.
These are the people that United States senators put in charge of the most important law enforcement agency in the country.
Yep, and they knew it.
They knew it. They knew it from the start.
They knew what he was. They knew he's a jackass, and they didn't care enough to stop him.
And now I don't think Kash Patel is in a normal universe. Everything was going normal. Everything was going fine. Kash Patel would be the biggest scandal in the administration.
Oh, right now it's just like number 7 or something.
Yeah, it's hardly making a peep as far as the scandals go in this administration. But I do think it's pretty serious. Oh God.
I have to keep saying this. It's not that I'm siding with Iran when I mentioned the strength of their social media game, but game knows game, and these guys have game.
Well, it's a strategy to win a PR war, because they see Donald Trump as a PR threat. Obviously, he is bombing the shit out of the country and killing a lot of people, and he has decapitated the regime and all this stuff. But
luckily, Trump saved those 8 AI girls.
I think the IRGC and the Iranian regime right now believes that if they can win the PR war, Americans will lose any interest.
Listen, we've already lost interest in this war.
Yeah,
nobody wants this thing.
Here
we go. The other war Trump is fighting is against the Holy Roman Catholic Church and the Vicar of Rome, the Holy Father, the great descendant of the church founded in the year AD 33, Pope Leo.
We have a long history of great powers going toe to toe with the Pope.
It works out well for all of them.
It really does. There's never been any major conflagrations over disputes with the Pope. They attack the Pope, who's really popular. They are very unpopular themselves. There's no. You see this like 5D, 10D chess. They're geniuses. We had this for a long time. We had this theory that J.D. Vance was this great political operator, and he was a really smart guy.
I listen. JD is a guy right now living in a worse hell than almost anybody else because he knows he wants to run in 2028. Andrew, can you imagine how he comes out of the next 2 years of this into 2028 and says, "I've done a great job."
Yeah,
it's going to be awesome.
He's going to be asked about every little thing, and he's going to have to say, "Oh, I wasn't involved." Anything this administration has done is all of it is negative. You see it on the issue polling.
Nobody likes for Bush. When we worked for Bush in 2000, Al Gore took the radiation of Bill Clinton's misbehavior in the White House all the way through.
Yeah.
We ran a campaign with a theme, restore honor and dignity to the White House, even though Al Gore was not the problem.
Mm-hmm.
If J.D. Vance thinks he's not going to get stuck with every Trump tweet and every Trump policy and every Trump statement, I think the guy needs to, if I were JD, I'd be like, I'm going to go back into private equity.
Honestly, he probably should. That would probably be a much better field for JD Vance.
Yeah.
Quieter, less people attacking his wife and family.
Yeah.
This is the question. It's like, what do they have to run on anymore? They have absolutely nothing left to run on. No. And they've been saying this thing, I heard this exact same stuff in 2018 where they were going to run on the party platform.
Right.
They were not going to make it about Donald Trump.
Matters.
I'm sorry. That never works. Not when Donald Trump puts himself at the center of everything.
Right. And not when every one of them has said over and over again, I don't work for my constituents. I work for Trump.
Yeah. Yeah. Loyalty to Trump is the number one quality that you have to have to get in office as a Republican.
Madness.
And it is madness. And we've heard this before, how they're going to run on the platform. They're going to avoid Trump. It's not possible. It's not realistic.
He won't let you guys avoid him.
He won't let you do that.
He's the guest that will not leave.
He is. And he has, this has always been the issue with Trump and the Republican Party, is that he puts himself at the center of everything.
Yep.
And therefore he is the avatar of all the shitty things that are happening.
It is. They're stuck with him. He ain't going away. It's not getting any better. And Andrew and I will be back to see you guys again next Friday with more hijinks and frivolity of the decline and fall of the Trumpian empire. And we'll see if we can dig up some numbers directly related to some of these congressional races that are building out, because I think there is a great deal of interest in knowing what's going on down there in the weeds. I will tell you this: I was briefed this morning very briefly by somebody who knows some of the Senate information, and the Republicans' panic is rising, and it's rising for a really good reason, because they now view Maine and Alaska as moving out of reach.
Scary stuff.
Scary stuff. Going to be fun. All right, everybody. We'll see you again next time.